Gavin Plum, 37, from Harlow, was an unremarkable, overweight-looking man. He worked as a security guard, hiding his dark fantasies and desires from the rest of the world. Plum's ex-partner, Laura Roberts, felt that he was evil from her own experiences when she lived with Plum. Laura put orders in place to stop him from contacting her and their 2 children.
A long time ago I met him. I was about 12. I met him through my sister. They went to the same school. They were friends. We ended up good friends, and then we went on from there. About 8 months into the relationship, that's when I noticed things, because he'd start getting inside my head to begin with and making me feel bad about myself, telling me nobody would want me and making me feel like I'm nothing.
If you were to see Holly Willoughby, what would you say to her?
I would apologise to her, probably give her a hug, to be fair, because I know exactly what it's like. And the worst thing about it, she's a stranger to all of us. She's just a lady we watch on telly. So to think that he could do that to a celebrity makes me physically sick. He enjoys the power, and this is the new Gavin, and it's terrifying.
Do you believe he would have carried out the attack?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's just no doubt about it. If it weren't going to be that poor woman, it would be somebody else. I weren't allowed to spend money on myself or anybody without spending money on him. And then he started getting violent actually before then, hitting me, and that he got worse and worse. After he calmed down, he apologised, but he was enjoying the power way too much. He would tower over me, and he would smirk and laugh seeing me cower. To be straight with you, I wasn't surprised. The only bit I was about the murder bit, because even though it nearly hurt me, he's never mentioned the word murder before. But the rest of it, I wasn't surprised at all. He enjoys the power, and this is the new Gavin.
Plum became fixated on fulfilling a warped kidnap fantasy. The security guard spent much of his time hunched over a computer screen as he trawled through forums dedicated to abduction. In 2006, Plum tried to lure a terrified cabin crew worker off a train using a threatening note. He wrote, "I have got a gun. All you have to do is keep quiet. Do what I say. So just stand up and get off at the next stop with me. Don't cry or make a sound. Don't stop me from touching you, because I won't hurt you. If you do all of this, no one will get hurt. But if you don't, I am going to shoot you and myself and everyone else." Although the plan failed, undeterred Plum tried again just 2 days later, when he stumbled across another air stewardess on a train. The woman who was on her way to the airport she worked at said she had not done her hair and makeup, so sat at the back of the train carriage so she could finish getting ready. The train carriage was practically empty, so she thought it seemed odd when someone sat opposite her. Describing the incident, she said, "He passed me a note. I thought it's just some piece of paper. I didn't even look what he was doing. I ignored it. He then pushed it forward for me to read, and when I read it, it was something along the lines of, 'Get off the train with me, and nothing will happen to anybody.'" She continued, "He had a rope and a replica gun on him. As I read that note, it was only then I looked at him. My first impression was that he is huge. I have no chance. There were this moment when I was frozen and scared. But it was also a disbelief. I thought maybe he's just joking. It is absurd. But he started approaching me with his hands. He held his hand on my knee, and he was indicating that we are going to go. After the initial freeze and disbelief, I realised what's going on, and I was frightened. That feeling was growing, and I was frightened. That feeling was growing because I started realising that this massive man wants to get me off the train, and I knew the next station is in a small village." She knew the station would be quiet at that time and was surrounded by bushes and woods. I had all the worst scenarios cooking in my head, and I thought if I got off the train with him, he can do anything, and so my thought was not to get off that train at any cost. She recalled how she clung to her seat and desperately made eye contact with another woman on the train, silently pleading for help. That woman realised something was very wrong and ran to a man who was sitting at the other end of the carriage. As the pair approached, Plum fled and got off the train. Both the victims Plum targeted were wearing uniforms from the airline they worked at. He later said how he had a stewardess fantasy. Plum received a suspended sentence for the attempted kidnaps. 2 years later, he attempted to tie up teenage girls while working in Woolworths. Holding one of the girls at knife point, he told her, "Get to the back of the storeroom." He was locked up in prison, but released just 2 years later, where he would begin to set the wheels in motion to snatch his ultimate fantasy. Plum began watching daytime television every day when his weight ballooned to 35 stones. As he was housebound, he had a lot of free time on his hands and started to become obsessed with the TV presenter Holly Willoughby. Plum's celebrity crush on the beautiful presenter, model and author became sinister when he set his sights on snatching her. Plum spent 99.9% of his time online, trawling through creepy websites for an accomplice as he formulated his Holly kidnap plot. He collected a cache of millions of images of the presenter and other female celebrities. Drawing from his previous experience, Plum knew exactly what it would take to terrify and overpower a woman. Plum tracked Holly's moments and activities for some time, as he gathered intel on her security arrangements. At one stage, he even considered booking a tour to the ITV studios that would involve meeting presenters. He discussed the plot with an accomplice online, telling him, "I'm at the point where I don't care about the risks or consequences." In voice notes between the pair, Plum told how they would strike in the dead of the night using chloroform on Holly and her husband, Dan Baldwin, to knock them out.
Yeah, I've been just telling the guys that basically we're waiting on you. We're using your idea for the wait until DOI is done. Once DOI is done, we're literally getting everything in place. The only thing we're missing is somewhere to hold her. Right, plan of action. I'll give you a brief rundown. Basically, we're going to hit it at night. Less traffic on the road, etc. Chloroform both of them. That way then they can both be easily restrained. Pick out outfits of hers that we like. And then obviously take her and the outfits with us. And then we're gone.
Plum also said the home invasion plan would guarantee that Phil would get a new co-host, referring to Holly's former This Morning host, Philip Schofield. As his ideas began to take shape, Plum ordered 400 heavy-duty cable ties from Amazon for a restraint kit. He also purchased two £9.20 bottles of chloroform, handcuffs, shackles and a gag, with a chilling image showing all the instruments laid out in his bed. But greedy Plum could not resist sharing the secret plot with another person. Thankfully for Holly, he chose the wrong online accomplice to reveal his plan to, and that person turned out to be undercover police officer David Nelson from Minnesota. In alarming one-to-one chats, he shared videos of the kit and a map showing the route between his house in Essex and Holly's home. Plum also used the alias Big Bear to post pictures of the star on the shocking Abduct Lovers website. Plum and Nelson exchanged 300 messages privately, with the officer having monitored the public group on the Kick app. Plum told Nelson that he was definitely serious about his plot to kidnap Holly, leaving the officer with the impression that there was an imminent threat to her. Believing the plan was a credible one, Nelson contacted both the FBI and police. He said that initially he did not know who Miss Holly Willoughby was, but that he would have contacted British police, whoever it had been. He said, "I treat each victim the same in every investigation. My course of action will be no different." Holly, meanwhile, had been just moments away from going on air for This Morning when she was told about the sick plot. Essex police officers raided Plum's flat in Harlow, where they found bottles of chloroform and an abduction kit. Plum was arrested on 4th of October when officers told him that the allegations concerned, and he said, "I'm not going to lie, she is a fantasy of mine."
Police! Stay where you are! Do not touch anything! Who else is home?
What's going on? What the hell is going on?
Listen to what my colleague's got to say. Right, you're under arrest on suspicion of conspiracy to kidnap. You do not have to say anything.
What is going on? What are you talking about?
I mentioned one question, something which relates to line for anything you do say may begin with
Can you tell me what you're talking about?
You're getting your duvet, right?
Hands and ankle shackles, ring and ball gag, 3 lots of rope, metal cable ties, 2 sets of handcuffs, 1 set of ankles.
Yeah, you are very gentle.
necessities for the arrest are to allow for a prompt and effective investigation by interview and to prevent any further physical harm to the person. Okay, we'll talk about it back.
To who? Can you please explain to me what the hell is going on?
Yeah, so at the moment you're under arrest for conspiracy to kidnap.
Who?
Holly Willoughby.
I think those ones are warm.
That's the allegation.
Okay, where's that come from?
Like I said, it'll be explained to you in custody, and you'll be interviewed about it. I'm not going to tell you any further than that at this current time, okay?
Okay then.
But that is the allegation.
I'm not going to lie, she's a fantasy of mine. I mean, she's a fantasy of a lot of guys, isn't she?
Right. You can go anywhere in Florida. Being destroyed.
Mate, if you'd have knocked, I would have opened and spoke to you.
As we said, the reason
I was literally just about to go to bed.
The reason that they're going into that is because of the offence that you've been arrested for. We need to make sure that we can gather as much evidence as we can as quickly as we can. So we've had to put the door in to secure the evidence. All right.
You've got no.
He answered no comment to all questions in 2 police interviews after he was taken into custody. Chelmsford Crown Court was told Plum's plot had a catastrophic and life-changing impact on the former This Morning presenter. Plum was unanimously convicted of soliciting murder and inciting rape and kidnap. He was given 3 concurrent life sentences, 1 for each offence, with a minimum term to serve of 15 years. Plum will also remain on the sex offenders register for life and was also given a restraining order. Sentencing plan, Mr. Justice Edward Murray told him, "There is no doubt that if you had genuinely found 1 or more accomplices who were seriously interested in and had been willing to join you in carrying your plan through, then you would have put this plan into action." He also added, "Your plan was hopelessly unrealistic for a number of reasons, including your poor physical health, but you clearly thought it was feasible."
Over a number of years, you pursued an unhealthy sexual obsession with Holly Willoughby that led you ultimately to plan over that period to kidnap, to rape, and to murder her. You researched her home address, her security arrangements, her daily routine, her route to work, her family. You assembled a restraint kit. You bought what you believed to be chloroform to incapacitate her and her husband. You intended to harm her husband and her children as part of your plan. You attempted to recruit several people to help you. You discussed with Mark and with David Nelson and no doubt others in hideous and revolting detail the prolonged sexual violence that you intended to inflict on Ms. Willoughby once you abducted her and had her under your control. You had previously been convicted of terrifying offences involving the threat of sexual violence against 4 different young women. I found you to be dangerous. You solicited David Nelson to murder Ms. Willoughby or to assist you in murdering her. You encouraged Mark and David Nelson to participate in your plan to kidnap and rape Ms. Willoughby. The jury saw through the various lies that you told at the trial and convicted you of these offences, for which I now sentence you as follows. For the offence of soliciting murder, I sentence you to life imprisonment with a minimum term of 15 years and 85 days. For the offence of encouraging or assisting the commission of the offence of kidnapping, I sentence you to life imprisonment with a minimum term to serve of 15 years and 85 days. And for the offence of encouraging or assisting the commission of the offence of rape, I sentence you to life imprisonment with a minimum term to serve of 15 years and 85 days. You may go down.
Sasha Wass, KC, mitigating for Plum, told Chelmsford Crown Court that the defendant worshipped and was obsessed by Miss Willoughby for a period of years, admittedly in a warped and bizarre manner. She said Plum was devastated with the cause of such pain to Miss Willoughby. She said he remains embarrassed and ashamed and has always expected the online conversations that formed the focus of the trial would remain private. Laura Roberts, Plum's ex-partner, said the sentence was the biggest relief of her life. She said, "I feel safe finally. I feel like our kids are safe with him behind bars, and now he can't have any influence on them. I want to thank the judge for doing this for us and for making all women safer in this country. I hope he never gets out and they throw away the key." Holly said that she will be forever grateful to those who foiled the evil plot, adding, "As women, we should not be made to feel unsafe going about our daily lives and in our own homes. Thank you to the Crown Prosecution Services, the Right Honourable Mr Justice Murray, Alison Morgan, the members of the jury, and all involved in this case for ensuring that justice was done and that the defendant will not be able to harm any more women. I would also like to commend the bravery of his previous victims for speaking up at the time. Without their bravery, this conviction may not have been possible."